The Coach Pete Richardson Show, hosted by Clarence Buggs and Southern University head football coach Pete Richardson, featuring all the excitement of the Southern University football program. Brought to you by Acadian True Value Hardware, SU Jags Online, Casino Rouge, Capital Transportation Corporation, the Clayton Law Firm, Bank One, Baton Rouge Coca-Cola, and Agnes Andrews Allstate Insurance.
There's a place where you can go to join the celebration called Fun Fever.
Fun Fever, Rouge Fun Fever.
Come to where the action's hot, the sights, the sounds, the tastes. It's called Fun Fever.
Fun Fever, Rouge Fun Fever.
Shake your body, it's a party every day. Feel it in the air, Fun Fever's here to stay.
Fun Fever, get to the Rouge.
Southern University alumni, faculty, and students, you can take the yard to the web thanks to SU Jags Online. That's right, SU Jags Online is the official internet service provider of the Southern University National Alumni Federation. You can communicate with long-lost classmates, get financial information, news, entertainment, and weather. Follow Jaguar Sports Live and so much more all online at SU Jags Online. Go to www.sujagsonline.net and subscribe today.
Hello and welcome to week number 5 of the Coach Pete Richardson Show. As has been the case throughout the course of the season, we are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Pete Richardson. Coach, all season long, folks have been grumbling a little bit about the offense. This week, we put up 426 total yards in offense, but unfortunately, we don't get the points to go with it.
Well, I think going into the football game, the offense was beginning to gel. The offensive line, especially, is starting to come around. I think Gary Jenkins and Green on that left side is getting that experience they need. We're developing that chemistry with the outside receivers, and also we're getting our running game started, which is a plus for our passing game, and that was one of the pluses for us in that football game.
On the other side of the coin, shades of the old Dog Day defense all over the dome Saturday.
Well, we knew we had to control a good football team. They had put up big numbers as far as rushing the football with 2 great running backs, and we had to control the line of scrimmage. In the second half, I think we took and controlled that, and with a couple of turnovers, changed that whole game around.
Looking at the statistics, time of possession was one of the statistics that we had been concerned about in earlier games this season. This particular week, we only have the ball 10 seconds less than the opposition, but again, we come away with the L.
Well, going into the game, we had a big disparity in the controlling of the clock. And I think if you're going to win football games, you have to kind of get that parity in that. And we moved the ball offensively, controlled the clock. We blew many opportunities down in the scoring zone, which I think hurt us. And our special teams failed us a little bit with the field goals.
Let's start right off with the highlights from the Southern University Jackson State contest this past Saturday. Don't know if it was an omen or what, Coach, but very first play from scrimmage, Troy rips off a 20-yard rush only to lose the handle.
Well, we sprinted out to the left side, and he got dragged down from behind, and an individual tore the ball out, and sure enough, we were in a bad position starting off early in that game, and our defense had to come and shut them down.
Defense did their job, came in and limited them to a 34-yard field goal.
Well, I knew going into the game for the past couple years, their field goal kicker seemed like he feasted on Southern University. I think he was 1 for 6 going into the game, and all of a sudden he kicks a 34-yard field goal and a 40-yard field goal. So that's been our nemesis when we play Jackson State.
3-0 at that juncture. We moved to action 2 possessions later. 2nd and 7 from the Southern 35. Troy hits Michael Hayes for 31 yards.
Well, we knew that Mike is a big part of our offense, and people have been doubling a lot of times, so our inside receivers are going to have to start making some plays. We had a number of opportunities of wide open individuals running down the field, and those quarterbacks have to make those plays for us.
Speaking of other receivers, 2 plays later, same possession, Haywood Guyan, 19 yards down to the JSU 14.
Well, Haywood is probably the best pattern runner we have on our football team as far as getting open. He's a very steady individual. Don't have great speed, but great hands and a great attitude as far as getting on that football field. Justin
Mattingly, of course, wraps up that possession with a 30-yard field goal, and we're tied 3 apiece.
Well, that field goal at that time, we had to get some points. I knew that I thought it would be a high-scoring game. I had no idea that the score would end up 13-10 from that aspect because you had a higher-powered offense the week before, rolling about 450 yards a game.
We kick off to Jackson State. They keep it for 7 plays, relinquish possession. Our next possession, we're back on the move. Dane Lewis picks up 13 yards out to our 30-yard line.
I think what helps us out a great deal is our running game. We have to get the running game started. Teams are putting 7, 8 people in the box, but besides that, we still have to attempt to run the football to set up our passing game. If we can do that, then we can be successful.
Speaking of running, Troy, as he has done for most of the season, later in the same drive, rips off another 10-yarder for another first down at our own 45.
Well, during the week, we put some run plays in for our quarterback. We're spreading people out on the field to try to get them out the box, so the quarterback is going to have to be able to carry the ball. Our goal is for our quarterbacks to have anywhere from 75 to 100 yards a game. If we can do that with spreading them out, we can be successful.
Unfortunately, 4th and 1 at the culmination of this drive at the JSU 46. Dane Lewis is stopped for no gain. We have to give up possession of the ball.
Well, we're down in the scoring zone again, and I realized that we have to get some points on the board. We're taking some chances, and I think it was 4th and 1 or something, and we lost that possession at that time. But we still have to take advantage of every opportunity we get to try to get some points on the board.
Seems like a broken record as we go to 2 possessions later, first possession of the second quarter. Nathan McLaurin, outstanding rusher.
He's a great running back. I think Jackson in the past has always had some running backs that has the size, they has the speed. Also, they did a good job of running that option play down on the goal line for us. We're in a goal line defense, and he got out on the flank and eluded one of our defensive backs, and he was in the end zone.
McLaurin knocks it in for 5, ups the score to 10-3 Jackson State. You're watching the Coach Pete Richardson Show on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill.
30 to 97.
When you get a few tickets or accidents, some insurance companies don't want you anymore. With an Allstate agent, you can still get a second chance.
For a second chance on your auto insurance, see Agnes Andrews at 1200 South Acadian Thruway, Suite 217. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Ride on CTC, we're here to get you there.
We're here to get you there. Your city bus can take you anywhere. When you don't fight traffic, the difference is huge. We're the transportation for Baton Rouge. Ride on CTC, we're here to get you there.
Even in good times, the needs of Louisiana's communities don't disappear, and sometimes their challenges can seem overwhelming. That's why Bank One Louisiana contributes more than $10,000 a day to education, medical research, the arts, and countless charitable organizations across our state. And it's why our employees devote thousands of hours to causes they believe in. We do it because some things just can't be done alone, and we think it's important to help restore the balance.
I'm attorney Tony Clayton. I've tried a number of cases right here in this courthouse. I've probably tried more cases in the last 10 years than most lawyers have tried their entire career. I'm not afraid of a courtroom, and I'm not afraid to try your case before a jury, which means that insurance companies either offer you a fair settlement or we go to trial. My area of practice is personal injury. If you've been seriously injured, give me a call at 344-7000 for a free consultation. You will receive prompt, professional, and personal attention from me and my staff. And remember, at the Clayton Law Firm, we'll be with you every step of the way.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Without any hesitation, let's get back to the highlights. Coach, we pick it up 10-3 with J-State leading in the second quarter. You mentioned earlier that in the week's practice, you put in some running plays specifically for Troy. Apparently, they were working because on this possession, he picks up 41 yards on 2 carries.
Well, we put a lot of misdirection plays in our offense, and I think we had to do that in order to get our passing game started. So if we can run the football, and then the quarterback is going to have to be that individual to do that. I think the offensive line is doing a good job as far as pulling, and those misdirection plays is helping us out.
Elvis Joseph gave a good account of himself as well, picking up close to 20 yards in this possession alone.
Well, our running backs have been running extremely hard. We've been spreading the field out for them, and all of a sudden now we got the misdirection plays, and we're getting some of the people out the box so we have an opportunity to run the football.
Unfortunately, 4th and goal at the Jackson State 2. We come away empty-handed. Justin Mattingly misses his first field goal.
Well, that was a big disappointment at that time because I realized that we had to get some points on the board, and we missed that field goal, which he's been successful in the practice out on the field. They had been kicking him 35 and 40 yards, so I was real confident that he could hit that field goal for us.
Jackson State seemed to get a little momentum from that because they moved down the field, closing minutes of the first half, but Byron Hurst comes up with a big sack to stop the Tigers.
Well, our defensive line has been injuries, and Byron is stepping forward and playing forward well. A lot of those individuals are playing kind of hurt, but he had some big hits in that first half for us, and he was able to step forward for us.
They end up settling for a 38-yard field goal, and it puts them up by 10 at the half, 13-3.
Well, I knew going into the half, if we could keep it close and pick up our offense and our defense in the second half and put a few wrinkles in, that we had an opportunity to win that football game. I thought our players were playing extremely hard. They had a positive attitude. We had some good things going for us in that first half, especially our running game.
Move now to third quarter action. Coach Justin Mattingly, it just seemed like he couldn't get in the groove. He ends up missing his second one, this time from 31 yards.
Well, going down at that point, we felt that we had to get some points on the board. There was some discussion as far as going forward. We decided to go for the field goal. He had a big rush off the left side. Maybe it broke his concentration, and we came up short on that one also.
Closing minutes of the third quarter. Once again, our guy, Damian Ducksworth, the big fullback, puts it on the ground. Byron Hurst, Johnny on the spot.
Well, I felt at that time, about midway to third quarter, the action or the tempo of the game was starting to change. I think our defense was beginning to step forward and make some plays for us. I knew that if we can control the line of scrimmage and stop them off the run, then we had an opportunity to win.
Of course, at this point, Terrence Levy has come in relief of Troy Williams. He connects with Michael Hayes, 22 yards. We're back in business, 13-10.
Well, we decided to give Levy an opportunity to play in the second half. I thought a few times in that first half, Troy some plays that should have been made that wasn't. Levy deserved an opportunity to play. He stepped forward and made some plays for us in that second half.
Unfortunately, early in the fourth quarter, we're driving down the field, 4th and 5 from the Jackson State 32. Terrence misreads the defense, big pick off for Jackson State.
Well, we tried to get down the middle of the field on one of our go routes, and other individuals were supposed to run a post, and the safety went to the middle instead of to the flats, and all of a sudden now they picked that one off, and we're back on defense again. 2
possessions later, somewhat questionable call. The interference sets Jackson State up 1st and 10 at their own 29.
Well, I think a defensive back, Levy, did a great job as far as on that interference call. It was questionable, but you know, you can't put yourself in a position where one player will beat you. So it happened. Now we had to regroup and try to get the ball back.
We're down to one final go at it, 4th and 4 from our own 41, incompletion to Al Trevion Jobert.
Well, I thought that at that time it was a good call. We split the middle down, and I thought the ball was late. Kind of wasn't thrown. An individual made a great hit and responded to it, and he dropped the ball.
Final score, Jackson State 13, Southern University 10, but there's still more to come on the Coach Pete Richardson Show.
On Monday, it was an eternity away. By Thursday, you could almost taste it. The weekend, filled with possibilities and, oh yeah, projects. Nobody knows where you'd rather be more than True Value. We get you in and out fast with just what you need. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value.
Acadian True Value, serving Baton Rouge for over 25 years. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations.
Now that's what I call fan noise.
There's a place where you can go to join the celebration called Fun Fever. Come to where the action's hot, the sights, the sounds, the tastes. It's called Fun Fever. Shake your body, it's a party every day. Feel it in the air, Fun Fever's here to stay. Fun Fever, get to the roosh.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show. As always, we are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Coach, let's get right back to it. Top choice players of the week, first of all on offense.
I think our offensive line, Gary Jenkins did a great job for us. He's an individual that I could see progress every week. He's improving, and I think he did a great job grading out about 90%.
Let's flip the coin over and award the defensive player of the week as well.
Also, I have to give it to a defensive lineman. I thought Antonio Mays probably had the best game he had so far this season, did an outstanding job on defense and hoping to keep us together.
Each and every week, we have our regular feature we call Around the SWAC. Let's take a look at some scores and get your impressions, Coach. First of all, Grambling State 49, Mississippi Valley 13.
Well, I thought that Grambling handled them pretty good as far as Mississippi Valley. They lost a running back a couple weeks ago, and they're just trying to throw the football and just don't have the athletes.
One that was a surprise to me, don't know how much of a surprise it was to other nation fans, but Alabama State 37, UAPB 34.
Well, UAPB had been off a week, and of course, Alabama State went in with the high expectation. They had a great quarterback, and Kennedy did an outstanding job for him, was able to beat him late.
Alcorn State continues their woes, McNeese 41-12 winners.
Well, they're playing in probably one of the Division I AA powerhouses. McNeese State have a fine program, and Alcorn seem like they're down this year.
And finally, Alabama A&M 40-10 winners over Prairie View.
Well, Prairie View, I think it's been a tough year for them. They had a number of injuries on their team, and they're almost decimated. I think they lost their quarterback a couple weeks ago.
That wraps up our look around the SWAC, Coach. Finally, we get to play at home, but it doesn't get a whole lot easier because you've got a very talented Alabama State team on your hands this week.
I think Alabama State is coming in fired up. It was a great victory over Arkansas Pine Bluff last week, and they were led by their quarterback, Darnell Kennedy. He did a fine job. They're going to throw the football. They're going to spread you out all over the field. I think this individual has passed for almost 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. Have a great wide receiver, Kennedy, which has done a great job for them. Williams is his name. He's caught almost 9 touchdown passes, almost 400 yards. So he's going to make it exciting.
Defensively, what can the nation expect to see, and what can your kids look for from the Hornets?
Well, defensively, they're going to put 8 men in front on you. They're going to put man-to-man defense on the outside. They're going to try to stunt you almost every play, try to create turnovers. It's a blitzing type defense, and our offensive line is going to have to do a great job of protecting our quarterbacks.
It's been quite some time since you've had to open the season with 4 consecutive road games. I know you, the staff, and the team have got to be looking forward to finally setting foot in Mumford Stadium.
Well, it's been a long season for us. Anytime you play the first 4 games on the road with a very inexperienced team, and I think our team is improving, but we're looking forward to playing at home, especially in front of our fans.
When we come back, we've got a very special guest in store for you right here on the Coach Pete Richardson Show.
Southern University alumni, faculty, and students, you can take the yard to the web thanks to SU Jags Online. That's right, SU Jags Online is the official internet service provider of the Southern University National Alumni Federation. You can communicate with long-lost classmates, get financial information, news, entertainment, and weather. Follow Jaguar Sports Live and so much more all online at SU Jags Online. Go to www.sujagsonline.net and subscribe today.
People who don't have an Allstate agent, who do they turn to?
In Baton Rouge, see Agnes Andrews at 1200 South Acadian Thruway, Suite 217. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Right on CTC, we're here to get you there. We're here to get you there. Your city bus can take you anywhere. When you don't fight traffic, the difference is huge. We're the transportation for Baton Rouge. Right on CTC, we're here to get you there.
Even in good times, the needs of Louisiana's communities don't disappear, and sometimes their challenges can seem overwhelming. That's why Bank One Louisiana contributes more than $10,000 a day to education, medical research, the arts, and countless charitable organizations across our state. And it's why our employees devote thousands of hours to causes they believe in. We do it because some things just can't be done alone, and we think it's important to help restore the balance.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show, shot on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. As promised, a very special guest on the studio set with us. We, of course, are speaking of one of two new kids on the bluff, Kevin Manns, the Sports Information Director for Southern University. First of all, Kevin, thanks for taking time out of what I know has got to be a very hectic time of year for you to come down and spend a little time with us on the Coach Pete Richardson Show. First and foremost, who exactly is Kevin Manns?
I like to say I'm one of the hardest working people on the campus. My main responsibilities are the publicizing of the Southern University athletic departments, not just the football program per se, even though that's 1/17 of it per se. We have 17 varsity sports at Southern University, and my job is just to make sure everyone knows what is going on in the Southern University athletic department.
Let's go back a little further than that. Give us some background. Where'd you come from, and how did you end up on the bluff?
Well, my last stop was another SWAC school I was at, which just happens to be our opponents this week. I was at Alabama State University. I spent 3.5 years there. Before then, I spent 5 years at Winston-Salem State, along with Coach Richardson and a few members of this staff already. So, one of the reasons why I chose to come to Southern University was the relationship that I had with Coach Richardson throughout the whole period of about 18 years. My brother played under him at Winston-Salem State. And, it was just a thrill for me to get the opportunity to come to Southern University.
Now, this didn't just happen by chance. From what I understand, you kind of lobbied for this position.
In a lot of ways, I did. And I still believe that Southern University is the epitome of historically black colleges and universities. And anyone who's in my position or any position wants to surround themselves with the best and with winners, and coming to Southern University, I feel I've done just that.
Speaking of the fact that you came here from another SWAC school, what's the reputation of Southern University among your peers in the sports information world?
To be perfectly honest, it's where everyone wants to be, because we're perennial winners, and not just in football, but in all sports. And that's key to anyone's success in any profession. You always want to be where things are always going in a very positive light.
How is it that you ended up in sports information? Obviously, you've got a love for it, but was there anything in particular that directed you into that particular profession?
Well, actually, my undergraduate degree is actually in accounting. So I'm very good with numbers, so there's a direct correlation with what I do. But actually, back in 1990, I was fortunate enough to be doing some work for one of the Chicago Bulls at the time, Craig Hodges, and I helped start a public relations company for him in Chicago, and that was my first, I guess, so to speak, getting my feet wet, so to speak, in sports information. After that relationship ended, I jumped right into Winston-Salem State University. It's something that I love. I was an athlete. Coming up, it paid for my education as well. I played football, so it was a way for me to keep myself involved in athletics, and also it's just another way of letting others know that there's other things besides playing on Sunday when it comes to sports. This is another one of those back pages type of jobs that a lot of people don't really know about.
Well, again, Kevin, we are sincerely grateful for you taking the opportunity to come down and spend a little time with us, and we look forward to being with you each and every week throughout the course of the 2000 season. When we return, Coach Pete will come back on the set. We will wrap up this edition. Stay with us. You're watching the Coach Pete Richardson Show.
I'm attorney Tony Clayton. I've tried a number of cases right here in this courthouse. I've probably tried more cases in the last 10 years than most lawyers have tried their entire career. I'm not afraid of a courtroom, and I'm not afraid to try your case before a jury, which means that insurance companies either offer you a fair settlement or we go to trial. My area of practice is personal injury. If you've been seriously injured, give me a call at 344-7000 for a free consultation. You will receive prompt, professional, and personal attention from me and my staff. And remember, at the Clayton Law Firm, we'll be with you every step of the way.
Enjoy the moments that a new day brings. Everyone in the world has a song to sing. Live every day, let it sing. Enjoy. It's so easy. All around the world, have a Coke and enjoy.
Imagine a place that understands you'd rather be doing anything on Saturday other than fixing your faucet. A place that knows you can't spend half the weekend shopping for your weekend projects. True Value. For the jobs you do most and look forward to least. Because the sooner you get done, the sooner you can get back to this thing called your life. True Value.
Acadian True Value, serving Baton Rouge for over 25 years. Visit one of our 2 convenient locations.
There's a place where you can go to join the celebration called Fun Fever. Come to where the action's hot, the sights, the sounds, the tastes. It's called Fun Fever. Shake your body, it's a party every day. Feel it in the air, Fun Fever's here to stay. Fun Fever, get to Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Coach Pete Richardson Show. We are on location at the Fox and Hound Pub and Grill on Corporate Boulevard. Coach, let's look specifically at the kids in general. First of all, what kind of practice did you have today? And psychologically, how are they holding up?
I think overall, I think our team is holding up fine. It was the big expectation at the beginning of the year for this football team. We played some tough football teams in the first 3 or 4 football games of the season. The attitude, we knew we had a tough game with Jackson State, but we still had an opportunity to win. I think the players understand that, and we have to look forward to moving on from here.
You know, you've never had a losing season as a head coach, and there still is the opportunity here for this team to finish with a more than respectable record. From a coaching standpoint, how tough is it to keep them focused on that and not get too down on themselves because they didn't get out of the gate as fast as most of us would have liked them to?
Well, I think you have to be concerned if you watch the film and find out that they just wasn't hustling, wasn't responding what you were trying to tell them. I think that our team played hard for 60 minutes. We just fell short against Jackson State. They were fired up. We had our opportunities to win the game. We didn't capitalize. I think we have to learn how to get that killer mentality back in our football team, because from here on in, it's going to be a dogfight each and every game.
You know, things have really been, for lack of a better term, awfully topsy-turvy in the conference this season. The role of spoiler is one that you traditionally have not been cast in, but can you use that as a motivational tool for the kids for the rest of the season?
I think our league is improving. A lot of parity, new coaches is coming in, and you're going to find that from each week, each team is going to have to play because they understand getting to the championship game. I think that's each team's goals, and now we're in a position that we're going to have to fight back in order to be successful.
Well, now more than ever, we need the Jaguar Nation. We look to see you in A.W. Mumford Stadium this coming Saturday, and of course we look to see you next week, same time, same station, for another edition of the Coach Pete Richardson Show.